Hello everyone, I'm Danielle from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card, we're going to be looking at the energy you're in right now, and then the energy you're trying to move into. So this is a little bit of a growth reading, but it's also kind of if you've been stuck in stagnant energy, what is the next phase? What are you moving into? So I do have a pile that's a little bit smaller for the collective, and we'll just start right there. So I pulled 3 cards for the energy the collective is in, and I got Virgin, Hermit, and Companion. And the really big thing I'm getting from this is that the collective is in a time where they're learning to set boundaries in relationships, and by doing that, by learning that, there is going to be an ability to be more vulnerable and have those deeper heart-centered connections that so many of us are longing for and desiring. So here it says fear of intimate union for the Virgin, and I really see that being the energy that is there largely for the collective, around really being wholeheartedly themselves. Like if you look at this card, this woman here is like got both her hands across her heart, across her chest, and she feels like she's feeling like she needs to protect herself or guard herself. And then the Hermit kind of speaks for itself. It's sort of keeping yourself away, not a part of society, not a part of others, and feeling like you have to be on your own. Also kind of in a protective sort of fetal position. And I just see this as being like, this is how we've been. Feeling like we can't really let the outside world really in and see us, and we just have to kind of keep our distance. So there is a good way to do this, I should say that. There is like a time where you do need to go within and ask yourself what's going on and hold space for yourself. But when I see these cards coming up, it's more of a call to take the next step from that phase of cutting people out, blocking people out that aren't serving you. Now we're looking into how can you be more vulnerable and know how to set boundaries in the beginning to have these better unions. So it says companion, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. So I actually see this as really cementing on the direction that the collective wants to go, with having these like very, very loving, abundant relationships. Like I just feel like these feel mutually supportive, and they feel well balanced. Even in the imagery, I feel like I keep seeing the yin and yang symbol, which really talks about there being a good balance there for both sides. There's an equal give and take. Yeah, so that's really beautiful. So that's just kind of what I see for the collective. And then I got a couple cards here just to further clarify on the theme that was going on for the collective. And maybe I'll start with this one here. It says the Temple of Love, cultivating a deeper and stronger capacity for love through contemplation. For example, in metta, or loving kindness meditation, is a daily discipline, but doesn't mean drudgery, sorry. I think they had a typo. They said the same word a couple of times in the same sentence right after each other. Sorry, let me just restart. It says cultivating a deeper and stronger capacity for love through contemplation doesn't mean drudgery. Establishing a consistent routine for both your head, heart, and in your physical surroundings can and should be joyful and inspiring. So the call to action is make a sensual cave or refreshing oasis of your intimate spaces. Turn your bedroom into a temple of love, filling it with only the most heart-expanding, lush, and emotionally stirring items, colors, textures, and smells, and sounds you have access to. Make it optically and obviously to yourself that your life is a devotional practice inside and out. So that makes sense. I mean, you spend a lot of time in your bedroom sleeping, so it's good to have it making you feel safe in all ways, and I guess lavished. Yeah, I like the idea of the smells. Like I feel like if it's winter for you, like it is for me right now, you feel like rooms can get stagnant because the windows don't get open as much. Yeah, and I feel like that's when sickness gets in. I don't know, that's just how I see it. So I feel like even just having like a fresh smell in there sounds nice. Okay, and then last card for the collective is you can do this, and if you can't do it today, you'll do it tomorrow. You are not a failure. And it says, say this 10 times a day. Today and every day, I am free from self-sabotage and self-doubt. I said it backwards. Today and every day, I am free from self-doubt and self-sabotage. Today and every day, I am free from self-doubt and self-sabotage. So it's really interesting because this card makes me think of out of the Hermit card, where it almost says like they go within and isolate themselves because they feel safer there, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's serving their highest good anymore. Because like I said, there is a time in everyone's lives where there is like a need for more solitude, but I feel like if you stay there too long, it becomes not as healthy. It doesn't become a thing that is nurturing you. It becomes a thing that's holding you back. And I think this is sort of the phase that it's talking about getting out of. So it's really interesting this came up for the collective. So I'm really not sure if this is the collective of this channel or the collective of the world, the collective of the collective. But I don't quite feel it doesn't feel that, it doesn't quite feel like the world collective. So I feel like it's more like the collective of this channel, so subscribers, or if you're finding this maybe and you're watching this, then maybe this is something you need to hear. But yeah, huge focus on coming into the next year, or whenever you're watching this, coming into the next month. There's a huge focus on supportive and mutually respectful relationships. And it did come from a place of you learning how to set boundaries, how to value yourself, how to prioritize yourself, how to give yourself self-care. And it's going to pay off because I really just feel like there's, going to be less self-sabotaging in not being vulnerable enough. And I think that's just something for those who are watching this, because that's not always the case, but I'm really getting that for this one. It's almost like you being a support to others, but keeping a lot of your own, I guess, I don't know, what's on your chest is like the expression I want to use to yourself. So then it was never really like you could really get supported back, or the intimacy in the relationship couldn't really grow. So anyways, why don't we get into the piles now? I am going to start doing this, so if you don't want to see this, just skip past it. I think it's about 3 minutes. Before you choose your pile, I'm just going to have those who want get a quick little sound bath to ground yourself, realign all your chakras so you can best connect with your intuition, or hello everyone. I am recording this so that before you choose a pile, you can get a quick chakra attunement and alignment. It is going just to be about 1 or 2 minutes long, really just quick, just to get you more balanced. I wanted to offer this because I know sometimes people have a hard time grounding themselves or feeling connected to their intuition, and that's usually why they're seeking out a card reading. So this was my solution. I hope you enjoy. right, so let's choose our pile. So pile 1 is going to be this card here. And on the back it says ground down. Ground down. And underneath is a reflection card. Pile 2 will be this card. And it says gliding the lily. Gliding the lily. Must sound very mysterious to all of you. What is this talking about? Affirmations is the card underneath. And lastly, pile 3 will be this card. And on the back of it, it says deep breath. And it also has an affirmation card underneath. All right, so I'll just give you a couple minutes here to decide, and I'll see you all in your card readings. Hello, pile 1. So you chose this card, or ground down. Down is what it says on the back. I'm actually just going to start with the energy you're in right now, though, and then we'll look at these other ones. So I'll just sort of put that there. I think there's a few enough cards that I can leave them there. So we have artist, prostitute, and dilettante. Dilettante. I can never say this card, but it comes out a lot. Dilettante. Okay. Let's see what is going on here. Okay, pile 1. So it's just taking a second to pick up the vibe here. So it's really interesting. And just please ignore the word prostitute because I know that sounds horrible. But what I'm seeing going on here is you might be in a place where you feel very stuck. Very stuck in your, I want to say story. Like, this is what, like, I don't necessarily think any of you have to be doing any of these jobs. Like, they're all very art related, but it's almost interesting because I see this artist card and I actually see, despite this person should be loving their job, should be excited about what's going on in their life, it feels really boring. Like, there's all this color around her and her focus is she's like hunched over and staring at something this way. Like, she's not even seeing all this cool stuff happening around her because this is where I get that stuck in the story, and a certain identity, almost like I hope I'm portraying this properly. I'm seeing like someone who's like, every day I get up, I drive to work, or I walk to work at this time. Every day I ride the subway and then I go to work at this time, and then this happens at work every day. This person in my office or the person that I work with says basically the same conversations of the same kind of tendencies. I eat or drink the same amount of coffees or teas a day, and it's just, it feels very unexciting if that's like not the energy I'm conveying. It's almost like I can see like a picture book of like what is going to happen throughout your day. It's very predictable and it feels kind of stagnant and like dull. You're like bored with it. And I think that's why this is coming up, because an artist has the greatest potential to have the most unusual and interesting and intriguing life, but they can get stuck in a rut. Like, you always hear of writer's blocks or just blocks around creativity, and I feel like that's where you are right now for this pile. If you've chose this, you feel a little stuck and bored, and you don't want to feel like that anymore, which is totally fair. No one wants to feel that way. So then why is this prostitute card coming forward? I actually think it's like, sorry, I'm just kind of laughing because it's like, oh, what a funny word to have on a card. I actually see this more as feeling like what's holding you in this sort of boringness or this stuckness is feeling like you need it for the money. So I can't help but wonder if there's some people who have chosen this pile where you financially should be like happy. Everything should be met according to, you know, I don't know, society or whatever else, or maybe even what you thought is that you would be happy because of the money you're making in this job, but it's really, really boring, and that's probably why it pays a little bit more, is because it needs to compensate on some level for how like dull it is or how routine or repetitive it is. So if that's not the case, if you're not making a lot of money at it, I think there's still something here where it's saying, well, you feel like this is what you need to do for money. So there's some messaging going on there. And then this Dileante is so funny because it's another artist card. Another artist card. It says, delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. So I think that kind of clearly says it's almost like you see the same thing, like an artist just doing all these different things, doing and not putting her heart into any of them because she just feels like she has like this requirement she has to put out or put in. There's also like an underlining energy here that if some of these people are parents, that you're just literally doing everything you can, and I think you've almost forgot who you are. What makes you happy? What gets you excited? I feel like I want to ask those questions to this pile because you feel like you're just kind of in that block where I almost can see you sitting on the couch. You're like, I don't even know what I want to do. I'm so used to doing like what my kids want to do, or what my partner wants to do, or what my friends want to do, or what I have to do, that it's just kind of like, oh, I feel like you need a serious you day, a serious reset day, and then your mind will be a little clearer. You'll be a little more connected and attuned, and you'll just know what it is that you need to change this kind of energy up, because it does feel very stuck and stagnant because it's not making you, it's not lighting you up. You're not in your joy body. You're not in your happiness. You're not in your, I wanted to say yeehaw. I don't know where that came from. I guess it's Alberta that I live in, so maybe that's Alberta coming out of me. But yeah, so it's, I see this. If this doesn't resonate with you, then this might not be the pile for you, because this is kind of the energy that I'm seeing. These cards, these guidance cards, are going to be centered around. So let's take a look at, you know what do we want to start with? Isis cards. Do we want the reflection card. Okay. So here it says, self-care is so much more than a beauty regime or an internal thing you do. It has to start within your heart to know what you need to navigate your life. A pedicure doesn't last, but meditation every day does. Aw, see, that's really interesting. So even this card confirms like the self-care thing. Like, I really feel like that will bring you mental clarity that you're not having right now, because I feel like I just see this card so strongly, like just so focused on and so stuck in, right? Like it's almost like you need something different to get you thinking out of the box, get you stuck out of this this vibration, this, it's, oh, I don't know, it's very circular feeling energy. It's almost like you need someone to like grab you, get you out of the loop. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so here it says, meditate on what your heart needs in order to grow and be happy and at peace. How can you implement those needs into your daily life? So that's really the big thing. So that's why I keep saying, like, if you could do a self-care thing. I don't super know, but I find usually if I'm talking about this in a card reading, it's because you've been thinking about something. Maybe some kind of event has caught your eye. Maybe you just feel like you want to go for like a friend's weekend or something. There's something that you've been kind of thinking about but you might have dismissed, and this is just a card that comes through as a confirmation that yes, go take that. You need to get out of this routine because you're not happy, and it's just no, you don't need to keep doing this. That's what I'm gonna say. That's how I feel. I'm like, no, I feel like you could say 100 excuses, but it's like none of them are really serving you. So if you want change, I feel like just do it. Go take that self-care step. Go do that, see that friend, or do that activity. It's really calling towards you. Okay, I'm realizing that I've chosen a lot of cards with a lot of writing on them. So sorry if this is going to be kind of an unusual reading for me, where I might just be reading a lot of what I've chosen from cards, but maybe it's just because you need to hear what they have to say. So next we have, to make your decision, ask yourself, which way brings me closer to my divine purpose and which way takes me away from it? That's like a really good kind of meditative question or reflective question, which is funny because I think that's even what you got. You're the only pile got a reflective card. So it's really, really big for you right now is to just reflect and really see and reconnect with what you want. I think that's the big thing. It's like, I think you forgot to dream. I think you've been forgetting how to remember that you are capable of expansion and growth, and you can do things just for yourself, and you don't have to keep going on that loop like that other card here was saying. You need to break the loop. You need to change something. You need to even create that joy and excitement within yourself. That hopefulness. Yeah, I hope that you know what I'm talking about. Like sometimes you get really excited about learning a new thing or going somewhere. You're just going to try to recreate that energy within you again, because I feel like you've so been missing it. And you have to ask yourself, what would create that joy? That's a big message coming through. So it says, you are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do research or seek expert advice before making a decision. So that was just a guidance card that came out from Merlina, which I would assume would be similar to Merlin, but maybe the feminine form. And all right, so we also have from the Isis deck, we have Abundance, and we have Mother of Life. When life seems dry, depleted, filled with repetitive tasks, or simply stagnant and stifled, Isis, the Mother of Life, holds the ability to revive even the most numb, resistant, difficult circumstances in your life. She calls to you now, seeking to bestow gifts of life upon you. Behold and brave, open your arms and receive. Yeah, so big thing here. Really big thing about, it's like all your guides are really saying that you're feeling so stuck. So stuck and bored. That's a big thing, stagnant. So they're very big and very focused on getting you out of that. So let's read this abundance card, because that kind of sounds like the opposite of what we've been hearing here. It says, abundance in many forms is increasing in flow to you. That's great news. Can continue your good work of building channels through which abundance can be delivered to you. Freely share your talents, love, wisdom, and self, and enjoy the abundance responsibly flowing to you in many forms over and over again. So this is saying like there is a lot of beautiful things coming your way, and keep at whatever it is you're doing. So you know what's so funny, because everything here is telling me that you're not doing anything that you like, but I can't help but wonder, like, say maybe you are in some way an artist, and maybe you are doing a project right now, or you're doing something for work right now to make money, and it's almost feel like this is coming in saying like you're so gifted and talented, and what you do will sell, and you don't need to do the boring way. You don't need to do that specific way that is feeling so boring, depleting to you, to get that abundance. So, okay, we're getting close to the last of the reading cards. So I actually pulled two. So the ground down card, it is talking about a dissociation is learned. Yeah, no, that was right. Disassociation is a learned phenomena as much as it is a personal coping strategy. Most of us, by default, have our head in the clouds or on our phones. We act as if our minds aren't connecting to our bodies, as if they're distinct. Through grounding back into our bodies every day and as needed, we release their power combined, and there's so much pleasure to be found in this place. So this is really talking about grounding and being present, which really does make sense, because I feel like that's what it lacks. So in case you're not seeing the pattern, they're really, almost all these cards have been talking about the same energy at the start about, though this one says disassociation, feeling stuck, stagnant, not really being present in your day-to-day. So this one's call to action to help change that. Says to feel the pull of gravity on our bodies and their weight against the earth, to notice our breath and heart rate changing with our thoughts, to feel the aliveness of our vessels and know that we're fully resourced. That is the joy embodied. So it's really just talking about feeling in to each part of your body. And then this last card here, we are the lovers. Why should our reverence and romance be reserved for our sexual partners? This is a call to reignite a love affair with the other precious people in your life, your friends. One of the greatest gifts we'll ever receive is the chance to form chosen families. And yet, these ties are often first to be broken when an admirer comes along. So this is really funny. So I think that this is just confirming, as I was saying a little bit earlier, if there is like a friends weekend or a retreat or a self-care event or self-care activity that you've been knowing in the back of your head you'd really like to do, but you've kind of been coming up with reasons not to, I really feel like this here is like really encouraging you to do that, to get out of this. Because I guess it's so funny. I feel like I can see things so literally. So I can just see you on a loop and not feeling great. And then I can see if you could just take a foot out of that loop and step out with the other foot, you could see yourself and be like, wow, why am I doing these circles? And this is so boring. And no wonder why I'm not feeling really excited and embodying joy in my life right now. Because I'm literally stuck in this cycle, this circle, and I feel like going to this event or going and hanging out with your friends is really just, it sounds crazy, but I just see like, you're not going to need anyone to point it out to you. You're just going to see it and be like, oh, whew, how glad I'm not in that anymore. I'm good. And then you're just going to have some ideas on how to get out of it. Or it's going to help you get back into those healthy routines that maybe you used to have, but you've just fallen out of. So let's just pull a few guidance cards on what you can do other than going to see your friends to help you feel more like yourself and feel more joy, because I can just see this as a huge theme for this pile. So how can pile 1 bring more joy back to your life? We have see your emotions as teachers. Emotions can be transformed. Joy, whether joyous or challenging, they can teach you how to overcome fear and cultivate compassion. Visualize a shield of protection. Oh, that's probably a great suggestion. And energize yourself with the weather. So this makes sense because, sorry, I'm kind of like jumping around. So this card here, I see it as like, and when we're in nature, usually we can find a bit of grounding. We can be a little more present. Like we notice maybe a bug flying by us. We might notice flowers trying to bloom, or we notice leaves on the ground or changing colors. We're just more present. We observe more usually, at least when we're by ourselves. Or even maybe if you're talking while walking around in a park with a friend. I just really see this being a suggestion on how to feel more grounded is to just, when you're outside, I feel like you see and notice and are there more. And then this visualize the shield of protection, I think this is coming around when you're at work. And just really making sure that you're not taking on everyone else's stagnant, stuck, gross feeling energies as well as your own. And just visualizing yourself in a pillar of light, a shield of light, a bubble of light. Heck, it could even be in this, I can't think of the proper word for this, but this sort of symbol. You could even be in that, in a bubble of light, but you just want to make sure that your feet to your head are actually in that shield and that there's none of you sticking out. And the theory is that nothing that isn't of love and light can pass through and stick to you. So the whole purpose of an energy shield isn't to block everyone out. It's just so that you can be in that environment and not have to constantly be distinguishing your own emotions from someone else's. So what would that look like? You could see that your coworker is stressed, but instead of it becoming part of your stress, you just say, oh, I can see they're stressed. Oh, and you can come at it with a more clear mind. So maybe you feel compassionate towards them. Maybe you feel bad that they feel bad. I don't know, but at least all those emotions will be your own. Takes that heaviness away from you. Okay, and let's just pull one more for this pile on something else. Okay, you have center yourself. So once again, to me, this is all about grounding and being present. Take a few deep breaths to regain your center. Now you can approach life from a more mindful place. That sounds like makes sense to me, because I feel like, yeah, what you're really struggling with is disassociation or not being present. So I would even see this specifically when I see center yourself is like putting your hands on your heart center and really connecting in with that part of you, and just your heart won't lie to you if you're like, what do I need right now? And it will give you an answer. um, it will give you an idea or a sensation on what to do. Okay, I know this was kind of short, but that was my intention. Was I just know there's so many card readings for the New Year's, and well, this one won't take up hours of your time to see. So, best of luck. Go see your friends, or do that self-care retreat, or get back into that meditation practice you have, or maybe you go to yoga classes weekly and you've stopped. Whatever it is that gets you grounded and feeling like you. Also, I just got some people might go to a dance class. That would be pretty grounding too. You got to be very aware of your body and what it's doing. So yeah, I feel like you already know what it is. Just follow your instincts, follow your heart, and you've got this. All right, everyone, this is just a little sound healing or sound bath at the end to help ground you, help you ground in the information you just received. So if you'd like to receive this, just close your eyes and stay tuned. It's only going to be about 2 or 3 minutes. Hello, pile 2. So you chose this card or the Gliding the Lily. So I am going to start with the archetype cards, and then we'll get into these ones. I did realize that a lot of these cards are lots of writing, so there will be a lot of me reading today in this card reading. So let's see. For the energy cards, we have archetype cards. We have Angel, Poet, and Bully. That's so interesting. These are definitely opposing energies. So maybe just give me a second here to tune in to what is going on for you all right now. Okay, pile 2. So the energy I'm picking up on for what you're struggling with or what you're sort of dealing with right now and you're moving out of, I keep seeing like Angel, like I see this as like light worker, someone who has so much heart, so much compassion, so much nurture. And then when I see the Poet, and here it says it's like basically the ability to turn a gift into something that can be destructive. And I feel like it's talking about your nature. Like it's almost like without boundaries, without limits on how much you can give to others and how much you keep for yourself, you can turn this beautiful quality, this beautiful compassion you have, and nurturing abilities into sort of a burden on yourself. And then the Bully card is, I actually think this is talking about you bullying yourself. So it says conceals deeper fears behind verbal or physical abuse, but I actually think it's almost like how would I put it? I almost feel like you can be really hard on yourself if you don't do all that you can for people or go out of your way to help people. Or I even think for this pile, maybe you undercharge for what kind of work you do or what you're doing. Maybe you don't always get financial compensation for it. I really feel like if it feels like I see this beautiful energy and then I see like this sort of programming, like societal belief systems have put on you. So maybe even that was the bully. Like I see it coming in and then here's beautiful you, and then it's like making you feel like you have to do everything and anything to the point of your own health and your own livelihood. Because I actually feel like maybe you have struggled for finances, or maybe you've struggled with your health, your physical health, in the last little bit, and I almost feel like it's saying you're done with this bully energy. You're not going to keep letting old programming make you feel bad, or to feel bad for not basically draining yourself to help out a situation. Something like that. So if this is an energy you've struggled with, then this is probably a pile for you. But if not, this might not be the right pile, because all these cards are going to be guidance around this sort of energy. So let's see here. I'm trying to see, should I talk more about that? I feel like it's pretty clear. I feel like you're pretty aware that you probably overextend your energy, or I think it should be pretty clear, because I think a lot of people probably have told you that. Not the ones taking, of course, but the good friends who are like, are you sure you have the energy for that? You've really done a lot, or people like that. And I'm pretty sure you do have some of those in your life, or have had some of those in your life. So let's start with these cards next. They're messages from heaven or from the angels, and it says, a happy move to a new home or place of employment is in the works. This movement will usher in positive new energy, and it's followed by your desired outcome will occur in the very near future. Have patience and faith, and don't try to force it to happen. So this feels like a pretty powerful confirmation for this pile. If you've been asking for a change to come in or an opportunity, right here it says new career, new job, or even new home and location will be better for you, will be lighter for you. So I can't help but wonder if also like, how do I put it? If people start to get an expectation that you will do so much for them, it's really hard to get that type of person to respect boundaries, to accept new rules or new boundaries. Sometimes you do just have to move, and then once you move, you start fresh and you learn to start those boundaries right away. You don't overextend, you don't over-agree to things, and it can be a little bit frustrating, but in the end, as it says here, it will be for the better, because you have that lesson now, you have that knowledge now, and you don't want to feel that way again. So I want to read the affirmation next. So here it says, because one is content with oneself, one doesn't need others' approval. Because one accepts oneself, the whole world accepts him or her. And it says, bring your attention to your body. Where are you holding tension? Take a few moments to relax. So I even think it's really, really good for it to put attention on yourself and checking in with yourself and asking, why are you so stressed? What is going on there? Definitely feel like there will be more cards referring to connecting with your body and what it wants from you and how you can hear it. So, all right, what do you want next? Isis cards or these pleasure cards? It's so funny. I always feel like I want to do like a sexual awakening card reading or something, and I'm like, this is YouTube. That's so inappropriate. So I have a pleasure deck, which is this card, and it's really more like empowerment deck, but some are a little more sexual. And don't worry, I don't think it came out for you. You don't think it came out in this file, but I don't know. I always think about that. I don't know why I'm talking about it in this file, but yeah, I probably won't do that on YouTube because I don't feel like it's quite the right place, and people who maybe shouldn't find it that are way underage might. I don't know. Anyways, Isis card says, Portal of Light. It is only this physical reality that is bound by time and space. You are a conscious being on levels beyond the physical world. You are guided to work with your healing powers beyond the confines of time and space. You will not become ungrounded through such spiritual work. You are not leaving your earthly connection behind. You are merely adding to it. Interesting. I wonder if there is a fear there for this pile around that. Okay, truths unveiled. There are times when appearances of people, places, and things are deceptive. You will sense this when something feels uncomfortable within you. When you notice feelings of anxiety or doubt within you, you may think there is something wrong with you, but actually you are intuitively sensing that all is not as it appears to be. Trust what you feel and not what it appears to be. I think this is actually a very, very powerful card in this bully energy that was coming through, where it's almost, like where it says here, like you might think you're the issue, you're the problem, you're the thing that's making the energy odd. Something that you're doing or not doing or saying or not saying, and it's actually saying, no, it's not you. There's something going on in the situation already. So I actually feel like for this pile, you've come across a lot of, how would I put it? I can't think of the right word, but I can see you at work and you end up doing a lot more than the other people, and you end up kind of being like the one who has all these expectations on them to complete tasks and to do more than what your job requires of you, while there's other people there who can get away with doing basically nothing. Playing on their phones would be like an example. Like maybe they're just texting or actually playing like chess or a video game or an app game of some sort, and you're like, how are they not being disciplined for this? And I feel like these are the kind of people that you had, you felt insecure around, you felt intimidated around for some reason. There was something going on here, but I think what it actually is talking about is this card right here, where it said you noticed something was off, but you pointed it at yourself instead of seeing that it was something else going on in the environment. So I think this is something where I'm really focusing on it, because I think this is something that you are going to take with you and notice in future situations. This is like a lesson. So you don't need to learn it a bunch of times. You can just learn it from this one experience and take it with you in the future. And I really think this is going to go very far, because I think you're going to be in some work environments where you're going to see, okay, this is where I have to set the boundaries. This is where I do not overextend. And if you feel weird or something's going on, you're going to remind yourself, it's something going on with them. It's not me. I'm not the thing that is weird, that is not working here. So let's start with this card, because I read it at the start, the Gliding the Lily, which I feel like is really intriguing. I don't even know what it means. So it says, just as you're right where you're meant to be, so too are your experiences perfectly imperfect just as they are. Never enoughness is a symptom of hyper materialism. It's true that you deserve the best. It's true you should feel nothing less than a full body yes in every situation. Check in with your gut and find out. But even when that situation, person, or thing is already a big hell yes, that doesn't mean it will be perfect or should be. So, action, it says, nothing and no one is perfect. Not you, not them, not it. And thank God, God X, I think that's what it says. God X. Don't let perfectionism keep you from the thrills right in front of you, however impermanent. If it's a yes, it's a yes. A lily glided will only be spoiled. Oh, a lily gilded will only be spoiled. That's why I've been saying the word wrong this whole time. I kept reading as glided. Glided. It's gilded. Gilded is like bitter, I think. I don't know. So that's really interesting. Interesting to think about. I'll leave that with that. I feel like each pile has one of these cards where I'm like, it's talking about a specific situation that I don't totally know what they're talking about, but I feel like it feels very on point with the pile. So I'll leave it with you to take it and digest it as it feels right. And then the power of no. Now this card I know is going to be perfect for this pile because I can see you're overextending yourself. Like I said, and it almost is to the point where it's like almost feels like self-punishment how much you can make yourself feel like you need to oblige. So here it says, a person who values themselves as much as anyone else, who knows their innate worth, is a person with a sovereign sense of boundaries. Their moral compass points in all directions. They don't cross another person's boundaries, and they don't tolerate theirs being crossed. This is no easy thing for those of us trained to be okay with being stepped on. So the action, what are your romantic non-negotiables? What are your romantic non-negotiables? Your sensual no-nos, your communication must-haves. Write an exhaustive list. Don't stop exploring until you know exactly what you will and won't tolerate when it comes to boundaries. Dig them up like precious stones, then hold them dear. Don't let anyone swipe them. Ooh, I actually think this is a very great advice card for this file because I really feel like if you could pre-think about them, pre-decide on what boundaries you don't want broken, on what boundaries you do want to enforce, then I think in the situation you would be like, oh, this is one of those moments where I said I wouldn't agree to this, or I wouldn't let someone make me feel like I should agree to this. Okay, I just have a few more cards I was going to pull for just immediate advice right now. And they're seeming pretty clear. There we go. Okay. So we have restore with alone time. So I see this as some self-care, and that makes sense for this pile because I think there's just like a need to like go within and really just be like, what do I want? What's going on? What is going on? Why am I so tired? What am I allowing? And just even tuning in and connecting with your body. So it says, take a break from the busy world, replenish yourself in the stillness, meditate, stretch, nap, garden, do whatever quiet activities your spirit yearns for. And also another really good point, I think you've just really, really overworked yourself and you've really had a lot of stress, and I think you just really need some time to quite literally restore your energy buckets. So I think that's a really great card. Honor your inner child. Focus on your inner child's needs. Is your inner child afraid or in need of more playtime? Cherish this precious being within you. This is like coming up, I believe, because I think when you get to the root of what's going on with your inner child, what do they really need, you might feel there'll be like this less pressure from your own self or your own subconscious to overextend, to do all these things for other people, because you're going to kind of see like what's going on within me that makes me feel like I need to do this. Like, is what limiting belief is going on? What does my inner child think? Will I be loved if I do all this? Like, there's going to be kind of a discovery there, I think, for you. That will really bring up some clarity. And then practice. Press the pause button. Take a day off from being frustrated with yourself or others. Patience reaps great rewards. I actually see this as, say you don't do it perfectly, you forget to set a boundary. Don't think now all is lost, you're doomed, you gotta quit this job, you're gonna have to restart. Just know that you can go back to the moment and correct it. You can go, hey, actually, you know what? I'm too exhausted. I can't do that. Like, I almost see it's like, don't give up. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice boundaries, the more you check in with your boundaries, the more you start to check in with your inner child and yourself, you're going to get better and better. And don't beat yourself up for not getting it perfectly the first time. You literally have a bunch of deprogramming to do, so go a little easy on yourself. That's what I'm seeing there. Okay, maybe we want one more? Why don't we do one more? Find your purpose. When you feel like you don't fit into this world, remember that you're here to help create a better one. Your tender heart is a treasure. Okay, so this is where we have to be very careful though. Yes, your purpose is to be a light worker, and your purpose is to be strong and to be the change in the world you want to see and to be compassionate and all those wonderful things. But there is a thing here of knowing that your life purpose isn't being enslaved by others and not doing their work for them. So I think there is something there. Okay. All right, this is all I have for you. I know that was a lot of reading. I feel even tired from all that reading that I was doing, but I just hope this brought some clarity or something for you about what's going on. So I'll hopefully catch you around another card reading, but if not, just best of luck. Don't be too hard on yourselves. Alright everyone, this is just a little sound healing or sound bath at the end to help ground you, help you ground in the information you just received. So if you'd like to receive this, just close your eyes and stay tuned. It's only going to be about 2 or 3 minutes. Hello, pile 3. So you chose this card or the deep breath. And we're just going to take a look at the archetype cards first before looking at the rest. Okay, so the energy we have that you're in right now, we have child, orphan, we have the thief, we have child wounded, and we have the exorcist, which means freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses. So a lot of inner child stuff coming up for this pile, obviously. I guess you know that. You got 2 cards saying that message, so hang on here. You got 1 more than all the other piles, so it doesn't quite fit in the frame. Okay, pile 3, so I think I kind of see like this is the energy you're battling with, and then this is the energy you want to like turn it into. So let me go a little bit deeper here, because if you're looking at this, you're like, what? Exorcist, child wounded? Why would I want to turn into that energy? That's so weird. That's not, I feel like just ignore those words. But so the energy that you're in is sort of, I almost want to say like the triggered wounding in you will put you in a state sometimes where you feel like you're in it alone. You don't have anyone else to rely on or who can support you. And I think that even means in business and personal life, maybe in parenting, you feel like you're in it alone and you don't have anyone else that has your back, and it's kind of exhausting. And then I see this thief card. So I see it as, like here it says, shadow attributes, stealing creative ideas, feeling like you need to steal affection or the other powers you think you lack. How I see it is it almost feels like you need to fight. You need to fight for affection. You need to fight for support. You need to fight for money. It feels like you're kind of in this battle. So I want to be very clear. This is the energy I see that you're struggling to kind of eliminate once you get under a lot of stress or triggered. So this isn't something I think you're in all the time. It's kind of like when you're in your lowest low, this is sort of the default program that comes through, and I think you're kind of like, oh, it's so gross, I just don't want this anymore. How can I get rid of this? And then I do see these cards over here as how you're trying to work on it. So when the wounded child says awakens compassion and desire to serve others, and other wounded children, open to learning the path of forgiveness. And here it says freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses. So it's interesting. So this is why I'm saying, like, I can see like this fight. Like once you get triggered or you get really stressed or put under pressure, not so nice stuff comes in, like the fighting for affection, feeling unsupported, feeling very isolated and very alone. And then on the contrary, I see like when you're in a better energy, you really are trying to learn from those past experiences that made you feel that way, that made you feel disempowered, made you feel alone, and you're wanting to change that for other people. So I wouldn't even be surprised if this pile volunteers with how would I put it? With homeless people, maybe with like sort of non-desirable people. I don't mean that they are non-desirable, but kind of how society sees them. I feel like there's going to be a huge list, and I can't really like list them all, but I see like that's who you want to help. And it's not specifically children, it's people who were wounded like you but went down further. They maybe got into drugs, they maybe got into very abusive relationships, physical, emotional, financially they're struggling. It's just, yeah. So I feel like you really do have this desire to help people through your own wounding, overcome theirs, and empower them. So I can see why you don't want this anymore, because it's so sad. It's so sad to see how strong you are for others and how beautiful and how compassionate and loving you can have towards them. And then I see your wounding and I'm like, oh, it's so sad that like you're not having this energy come into this part of you. There's like a disconnect there. It's almost too bad that you can't nurture this aspect. So if this is the energy that you're in, this most likely is the card reading for you, because the rest of this card reading will just be the advice cards that have a lot of reading on them about what to do about the situation or more about the energy you're in. So yeah, let's move on. Let's start with the affirmation card here. So here it says, you have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. Louise L. Hay. I really love that lady. She's really brilliant. Recite this affirmation 5 times this morning I am perfect just the way I am. 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 That is the challenge for the reflection card, or the affirmation card. So that's going to go over there. And you actually got 3 of these cards. Maybe we'll save them a little bit. And I want to look at the angel messages. So we have Shanti and Archangel Michael, the Archangel of Protection. That's really interesting. And they're both very masculine energies. So that's also very interesting, that you kind of have that going on here. I am with you, giving you the courage to make life changes that will help you work on your divine life purpose. That's from Archangel Michael. So I always see him coming through for spiritual workers or light workers who are struggling. So it's really interesting that he's stepping forward, because he kind of comes in with that very healthy masculine energy. It's not wounded. It's not trying to prove that it's masculine. It's like a safe masculine energy. And then Shanti, I am the angel of peace. I bring you new tranquility and a smoother road ahead. So it's really interesting. I know this might not mean a lot for you right now. You're like, what? But I think it's saying like you are actually quite surrounded by very angelic beings who are trying to support you and are trying to help you get out of this I feel alone, I am alone energy that feels really hard to be in, really sad to be in. So it might not mean much to you now, but I really am just trying to convey that it seems like you are doing a lot of really great things out there. Like I was saying, this energy, I can see that I think you do really wonderful things for people outside of you, but there's almost like a need to bring that loving tenderness and protection energy towards yourself. So I think you have a lot of angels around you helping with that. Sorry, my camera battery died there. So let's look at the Isis cards. Imagery on these are so interesting. I never quite know what to make of them. But to read, we have Pillar of Light, a pillar of light burning bright, earth star below, soul star above. Burn away all that is not light. Transform all into unconditional love. Star of Isis descended, your blessings and peace without end. Grace me now with peace and protection, completely embraced by my divine perfection. This is very interesting. So I guess it's funny because you've only seen your pile, but it's amazing to me how so many of the words are around protection and perfection. Because here really said protection, peacefulness, tranquility, being perfect just as you are. Like it's funny. Like, and I can tell you none of the other cards were saying these words. You just somehow got all the cards that just perfectly go with protection and acceptance of self and being perfect as you are. So this one says, Divine Sun Child, blessings of the sun flow to you now. It is time to allow your life to flourish without limits, to let your light burn bright and without veil, just like the midsummer sun burning without contest in the Egyptian desert. It is your time to shine bright. Divine Sun Child. Kind of a pretty card. Okay, now let's get into these. The reading portion is almost done. So, interesting. So we have Sweetest Taboo, Sexual Healing, and Deep Breath. So I was saying how these cards actually are from a pleasure deck, but a lot of them are very empowering. But I think you might be the only pile who actually got ones talking about actual sex. So I'll have to put a little disclaimer here about this being an 18A rated reading or something like that. So deep breath. The link between breathing and our sensual expression cannot be overstated. With full life-giving breath, we can activate our vitality and experience our body's pleasure more wholly. With a short, shallow breath, we are cut off from our sensations, we create a stress response, and our health suffers. So the call to action, take a long, nourishing breath in through your nose, pulling the air up from your expanding stomach for 3 seconds. Hold. Now breathe it out slowly through your mouth for 3 seconds, letting your stomach deflate as you breathe out for a full, rich exhalation. Repeat for a few more rounds. How doesn't that feel better? That makes sense. They say, they've proven that a lot of us are bad breathers and we hold our breath when we're under stress, which then causes a lot of, I guess you could say, stress responses or fight or flight responses to occur in our body. So it's not just like a spiritual thing. It really is like a scientific, physical thing happening. If you don't breathe well and you don't even realize it, you could be I shouldn't say putting yourself, you could be not helping yourself out by creating a more stressful response in your body. So how to fix that is just to try to be more aware of breathing during the day. If you've noticed that you're feeling stressed or tense, just breathe. Or if you thought, I don't know the last time I breathe. It's kind of funny. Okay, let's get into this. It says sexual healing. To embody it to be pure animal. Oh, to be embodied is to be pure animal. Animals don't know sin. They are all sensations and presence. Your truth can only be distilled from your performativity, when you can get out of your own head. That looks like sensual self-inquiry for no other reason than to understand and please oneself. Action. Trauma lives in the body, but so too endless wells of strength, joy, and deep satisfaction. Do a body scan and you'll see there is wisdom in your body, in your pleasure body, mind, and soul. There lies the potential for deep healing. This healing is your birthright. And sweetest taboo, who taught you to be ashamed of your own lust? Who told you there was something dirty about your secret fantasies? We all have a preferred way we'd like to play, but few of us have cultivated the boldness necessary to embrace what we deem taboo in ourselves. Many of us don't even know what our proclivities are. Proclivities. So sorry, I keep throwing words at me that I don't know how to say. We've never explored our sexuality enough to discover them. Stepping into a truly holistic form of self-love means glimpsing the bigger picture of your attractions and appetites and embracing it all. Don't let the full potential of your pleasure remain untapped. Interview yourself and let it be no holds barred. Identify your suppressed parts and make friends with them. Date them even. So it's really calling on, I think, taking a look at some wounding that happened for this pile, or some shame around your own physical body, your own physical desires, and just saying, it seems like, according to this card reading, it would really suggest that that could be a layer of healing that could be worth exploring next. And as it said here, it's like just really to become in touch with your body and see really what it wants from you and what you want from it. Okay, and since we did so much reading, I feel like I gotta finish this card reading up with something a little less reading, and we're just gonna ask for advice cards for this pile right now on this energy. And I know those ones were advice, but I feel like it was so much reading that sometimes people don't listen. Ask a dream for guidance. Ooh, I love that. Oh, it's so interesting. This makes me think of Akashic Records. Like, maybe if you can ask a dream for guidance, you might even find yourself going into your own Akashic Records and finding out more about it. I was just thinking about that with this door here. This door, to me, looks so much like a door into someone's, like, record-keeping library or their Akashic library. But, yeah. It just says, dreams offer wisdom beyond logic. And tonight, ask a question before bed. In the morning, write down a dream and look for the answer. Super cool. Okay, let's see. What other advice is there for pile 3 right now around this situation or energy to help them? All right, I feel like I'm having a hard time shuffling one of these. Energize yourself by earthing. So that's just like putting your bare feet on the ground and connecting your body with the actual energy of the earth. So it could be rocks, it could be grass, it could be trees, but it's the idea that everything has its own energetic pulse it emanates, and that you can connect with that through skin. Okay, and then also the last one we have release fears, stop inventing scary stories about the future, stay in the now, and affirm your strengths. That one feels important. I actually see this too as like saging, saging away things, clearing things out. And then assert your authentic needs. I think this is talking about needs with yourself here, because if you these boys look almost the same, and I really see it's like one part of yourself, say your emotional body, talking to your physical body and saying, I need this, and you waiting for the answer. So I feel like this is really talking about connecting with yourself and seeing what those needs are and being open to hearing them. Okay, I think this is all I have for this pile. Hopefully that brought some sort of insight or clarity for you. Sorry about all the reading. I don't know what I was thinking when I chose so many reading cards. It was a lot. But yeah, so I do have a little sound clearing to play after this. It's only 3 minutes long if you want to hear it, or if not, that's totally okay. But yeah, I just hope you all have the best of luck with this journey. I mean, I can just see how beautiful and clear your intentions are. So I would just love to see you find a way to bring this beautiful energy you have towards everyone else and bring it towards yourself, so that you really can just shine the brightest you can. I feel like you have so much potential. Yeah, but you just need to fully love yourself the way you're loving everyone else. I know that sounds so cheesy, but I guess as the outsider looking in, that always seems clearer to us. Alright everyone, this is just a little sound healing or sound bath at the end to help ground you, help you ground in the information you just received. So if you'd like to receive this, just close your eyes and stay tuned. It's only going to be about 2 or 3 minutes. Hello everyone. So my intention for the sound bath portion of this pick a card reading is to call it in joy. So I just have the heart, the sacral, and we also have the third eye here. And that's all we're going to use, other than also the crystal pyramid, because I just love it and I feel like it's so good at clearing energy. So yeah, we're going to incorporate that as well. But we're going to keep it at about 10 minutes. So if you want to close your eyes, lie down, sit down, I welcome you to do that now, because we're going to get started right away. now the abundance and the joy that you've been wanting in your life. Call it in and claim it. All right, come back slowly now to the present. Feel your feet, feel your hands, your back if it's lying against a seat or a couch or a bed, and really feel where you are on this earth. Bring back your awareness to the present. Reconnect with your breath. Take a few inhales and exhales. And come back knowing now that your abundance awaits you and your joy body is activated.